Okay. So that being said, we have another caller here that I want to go ahead and pull in for us. Let's see. Let's go ahead and add him. Let's see, Jermaine. Let's add you back. Hey, Jermaine, how you doing?
Fine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Now, for everybody that want to know, I told anybody that if they don't want to show themselves on video, I still have to have you on the video because that's how this works. But if you don't want to show your face, you don't have to show your face. So that's one of the rules that we put in place until we can figure out how we're going to solve this stuff, okay? So we're just on our second show, so we're just learning. So Jermaine, you are the man now. What's going on? Do you have a question? I know you do, so talk to me.
Yes. First of all, I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate your whole team. And I appreciate the platform you have.
Thank
It's
you.
very inspirational. And I appreciate the work you're doing that's more and beyond just professional, but also just the lifestyle change. So I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Um, yeah. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to know, so just being fully transparent.
Uh-huh.
So I'm an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, but at the same time, I'm a very much person that's involved in the community,
Mm-hmm.
doing our things in the community, um, teaching classes on different subjects or what have you. So my heart is really in the community. But if you know, like I know, the community can't pay your bills, so I got to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. I
so,
understand.
and so now, and so, being that I'm an engineer, one of the things in my job right now, I'm seeing the need that I need to make a career change because it's while I'm grateful for having a job, but I'm at the stage in my life now where I don't want to be so much involved in the grunt work as an engineer. So I want to make that transition to something that is more not as labor intensive,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't require so much preparation work
Mm-hmm.
for me to do what I need to do.
Okay.
So I can do more of what I need to do until I'm totally made that transition from working for somebody. Period. But until that time, I need to increase my income.
Okay.
And so a friend of mine, knowing that, he suggested I take the Scrum. Took the Scrum class,
Mm-hmm.
did very well in the exam, thank God. And of course, thank you all for what you taught me. I only missed two questions. That's it. Only missed
Okay,
two.
that's good.
So
That's
I,
good.
yeah. And so I'm looking at what will you suggest for me, not having experience in Scrum?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, how would I make that transition? Um, and just as another side note,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I, I, what got me here is a interest in DevOps because
Okay.
I felt
Okay.
like with the whole thing going on with the whole COVID, but also because of what I'm trying to do in terms of my life, I'm trying to get out of being able to be somewhere in the brick and mortar.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you.
So be able to work anywhere as long as I got a laptop with me. You understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I saw that DevOps career. So that's what took me here. As a friend suggested I take the Scrum class. So I'm just give you a little background what got me here. So my
Okay.
question is that what will you suggest that I do that will allow me to make that career jump
Mm-hmm.
into something more along these lines, without having and understanding I don't have any quote unquote specific um, 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 uh, um, um, experience, if you will,
Yeah.
in Scrum per se. Even though after taking your class, I realized I've been doing Scrum all my life. Then they
Yeah.
realized
Yeah.
that's what I was doing.
That's 100%. That's exactly 100%.
I didn't
That's
realize that's what
exactly.
I was
Yeah.
doing. Even a lot of classes that I teach, I'm
Uh-huh.
like I'm teaching Scrum, not even realizing that's what I'm teaching. So
Okay.
grateful for that. So how would I make that career change
So
without having to lose income, without having to drop my income level? And just right now, I don't mind sharing it. Right now, I'm making like $70,000 a year, but I
mm-hmm.
need to make that career jump, uh, to put things in a better place for me and my family. So how would you suggest that I do that?
Well, you sound like you're ready to be a career. You one of those career changers. Um, I'm
Right.
a career changer. Um, I was a in-home counselor in psychology.
Mm,
I was going around doing in-home counseling in the Chicagoland area because I got a psychology degree. And
Mm-hmm.
so my first love is psychology, but I
Mm-hmm.
learned that my fiance at the time back then, she actually, I have worked like 122 hours one week, like literally like 2 weeks,
Right.
and she actually made more money than me working 40. And so I said I can't take
Right.
care of this woman doing that. It ain't gonna happen. So I
Right.
decided to
Right.
change
Right.
careers immediately once that happened because it was a slap in the face, right? And so here's the deal, man. You are doing part of what you need to do right now. Okay? That is, you're educating yourself to make the transition while you're still working. So
Right.
that's what you need to do. Now, the advice that I would give you is I would try to parlay. I would try to parlay. What do I mean by that? I would try to take what I know and parlay it into the Agile Scrum world. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
IT is in everything. IT is. And the classic way that IT sneaks in everywhere is, well, Scrum sneaks in is through IT. So now the
Mm-hmm.
question I would ask you is, could you take some of your expertise that you have, match it up with your newness with Scrum, with your expertise from engineering, and use that to jump into an organization that would like to have that background expertise of you being an engineer, because you may end up being a good product owner because you do have
Okay.
this other specialized knowledge. So could you take that and use that to help you? The reason why I say that to you, Jermaine, is because I went from I went from an insurance company to another. Basically, I went from Allstate to State Farm to Capital One to USAA. All of them got
Mm.
insurance and finance in common, and I was doing no insurance and finance.
Mm.
You understand where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now the
Mm-hmm.
question is, could you find a firm that does that? Because, for example, I have had opportunities with construction companies, and obviously they got tons of engineers, but they also got software.
Mm-hmm.
You see where I'm going?
Okay.
So, can you take your experience and use that to help you make the transition? Is the statement. If you can do that, you're going to make your waves a lot smoother. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And by making your waves a lot smoother, then you are creating a nice buffer for yourself, because the one thing that people can't do is replicate your other experience. You can have a 21-year old come and get a Scrum Master certification and then try to compete with you. Okay. You can have that happen anytime, but they can't
Mm-hmm.
compete with the experience that you already have. So I want you to
Mm-hmm.
take that experience that you already have, and you already said something really unique to me. And you know what that was? I've always been doing Scrum.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been doing Scrum. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And since you've always been doing Scrum, now the question is, does your resume reflect that?
Well, let me be clear when I say that. When I say I always
Mm-hmm.
been doing Scrum, let me be very clear. When I say I always been doing Scrum, I have not been doing Scrum professionally. When I say I always been
Oh,
doing Scrum,
and,
I
and
mean in terms of my life. I mean in terms of my life, in
but I
terms of how I
guarantee
live
you,
my life.
I guarantee you that some of the things that you've been doing in your
Uh,
work has been people kind of stuff. Has been
okay.
stuff that would help a Scrum Master or a product owner solve a problem. You've you've
Okay.
you've had those kind of things because we all do, and those things
Okay.
translate from job to job to job. So now,
Mm-hmm.
can you start taking your resume and start shaping your resume in a way where you can take advantage of your experience and bring this new thing called Scrum in, so that you get more experience doing that? Because there's, you already at a job. The other thing I would
Mm-hmm.
say is this: could you do Scrum in stealth while you were there?
Uh that's kind of hard for me to say because while I'm there, they're very anti-Scrum. I mean, without even knowing, right?
Yeah.
The environment is very is not the best work environment.
Mm-hmm.
You have they really in a lot of ways just are very just not the whole four pillars.
Mm-hmm.
Is it four or five pillars
The
of
five, the
Scrum?
five. You talking
Five,
about the
five, right?
five
Five, right?
values or the three pillars? I think you talking about the
Yeah,
values.
right. No, I'm talking about the three pillars. Let me see. There's
Transparency,
the
inspection, adaptation.
yeah,
Or you
they
talking
don't.
about
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
force?
three, yeah, force, right? Yeah, yeah, they don't really. They're very anti-Scrum,
Okay.
and so I'm looking. So at the same time, I'm trying to get into another position. I'm trying to really leave that environment at the same time. So
And I
they
believe you
wouldn't be
can. I believe you can.
right,
I don't see any reason why you
right,
can't. The
right,
question that you got to ask yourself is, can you take what you currently do
right.
and parlay that into your next opportunity? Because I'm telling you, if you're able to take your engineering knowledge and use
Mm-hmm.
that to help position you for whatever Scrum stuff you want to do with some other organization. Your current organization may be anti-Scrum, but their competition may not be.
I hear you. Mm-hmm.
You understand where I'm coming from? Their
Right,
competition
right,
may not be, right? And their
right, right.
competition, especially if your organization is better than them in terms of finances and everything else, they're competing better than them, definitely trying to poach people from that organization. So my statement to
Mm-hmm.
you is I would
Okay.
definitely take what I have and try to find a way to parlay that into what I can do and position myself in the Scrum world with that. Because what you have to understand is that people are using Scrum to build cars with, man.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so if people are using Scrum to build cars, okay, people are using Scrum in education. I use Scrum to
Okay.
work out with, right? I use Scrum to build this call-in show. Like literally to make this call-in show work, I actually did Scrum, right? And all
Okay.
this is on
Okay.
non-software stuff, right? So now
Right.
I would
Right.
ask you another question. You kind of said something to me that was interesting, and you brought up the word DevOps, okay? Not that
Mm-hmm.
I like to promote a whole lot of things, but have you read these two books? Continuous Integration,
Let me
Continuous
see.
Delivery?
Never read those books before.
Okay, I want you to I want you to read those books. There's a
Okay.
few others
Continuous
that you may want to
integration.
read. Huh?
Okay.
Continuous
Continuous
Integration
integration. Integration.
and
Continuous
Continuous
delivery.
Delivery.
Okay. Okay.
Continuous Delivery is by Jez Humble, David Farley,
Uh-huh.
and Continuous Integration actually came out before it. It is Paul Duval, M. Duval. Okay, so these books I want you to take a look at and read. And the reason why I want you to read that is because once you said DevOps, now you're talking about being a member of the development team. Now you're talking about being on that developer in that whole development world, in that whole building
Mm-hmm.
world. And in the whole building
Mm-hmm.
world, that's perfectly good. That's a good place to be. But
Mm-hmm.
that means that you have to have the skills to be there. So now the
Right.
question becomes, in terms of you being an engineer, are you really trying to move toward being a software engineer? Or are you trying to be a
No.
different kind
So
of
so
developer?
and again, I'm not. I'm automatically telling you I'm not claiming total knowledge and a lot of ignorance. I'm just letting you know right off the bat with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in terms of me getting to the DevOps, I'm wanting to get more on the operationals. I mean, the operational side of DevOps versus the development side of DevOps.
Okay. Okay.
That's what
All
I'm
right.
more wanting to
Okay.
more get more into, not just necessarily just being a just look at the screen software
Yeah.
engineer
Yeah.
per se.
Okay. I mean that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Mhm.
Um so I think you can actually parlay. I think you can actually
Okay.
take the experience that you have and turn
Hmm.
that into an opportunity where people look at that experience and say, he has all
Hmm.
this, and this may be a little light on this area, but we're okay with dealing with that because we're just starting out in that. Or we got somebody here that already does that, and we can pair them up with that person. So you just got to
Hmm.
find that right opportunity where you can use the stuff you have and begin
Hmm.
to kind of get that new stuff out there with you. So I think you,
Hmm.
man, I would say if I think about you, man, I think you could be nicely positioned, man. So now, if I'm
Okay.
you, like let's say I'm you, right? If I'm
Hmm.
you, I'm putting on my Jermaine hat. This is what I'm doing. I'm putting on my Jermaine
Okay.
hat right now, right? Okay.
Okay.
So if I'm you, in terms of how I'm thinking, right?
Okay.
What I would be doing is one, I'd be doing just what you're doing in terms of learning. So keep doing that. Don't change that. Okay.
Okay.
And then what I would add to that is have you taken a nice little look at the company's competition?
Okay.
and really
Okay.
took a look to see what the competition is doing. And you don't have to know what they're doing internally to have somewhat of an understanding of where they're going, and see if they
Hmm.
have recs out there, opportunities out there that they're looking for people that do this kind of work.
Okay.
I think you may be able to find organizations that are moving in that direction. And if you're able to
And
find
you
organizations that are moving in that direction, this is a plus. Does that make sense?
right. And when you say move that direction, you mean in the direction of
Where you're trying to go.
Scrum?
Yeah,
Okay.
just
Okay.
in the direction you're trying to go. Forget any other
Okay.
direction, in the scrum kind of direction of where you want to go, right?
Go.
That's the
Okay.
direction you want to get in, right? And so I'd be looking
Right.
at their competitors, because the truth of the matter is I went from Allstate to State Farm for a reason.
Right. Okay.
Do you understand where
Okay.
I'm coming from? I did that for a
Okay.
reason, okay? And that was a very,
Okay.
very deliberate decision on my part,
Okay. Okay.
knowing that there's that competition, right?
Hmm.
Knowing that
Hmm.
the competition would more than likely be willing to hire me, even though I don't know any super amazing secrets.
Okay.
Because I wasn't
Okay.
working in
Okay.
insurance, right? But they'd be
Right.
more
Right.
willing
Right.
to hire me for that reason, right? And so if you
Okay.
really just kind of sit back for a minute and take a look, I think you could be very well positioned to kind of move forward by doing some research. And I don't think this research is research that is super difficult for you. I think this research
Okay.
is research that gets you started, and then you just kind of start following these companies and seeing what they're doing, and go out to LinkedIn and start connecting with some of these people and networking with some of
Hmm.
them if you can, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
Seeing what kind of jobs these people have in terms of LinkedIn, because that can help you
Okay.
in part of that research. And see if you see
Hmm.
people inside that organization that have any scrummish type titles. If you see
Okay.
DevOps,
Okay.
if you see somebody in a title that says Scrum, or you might see Agile Project Manager, right? Um,
Okay. Okay.
you
Okay.
know,
Okay.
uh, you know, those kind of words are going to be words you want to look for people that's inside the company on LinkedIn, and you want to connect with them and make sure that they see your face. Okay,
Okay.
so from now I'm asking you to kind of do some stealth research, so and then you can kind of jump into your next move, grab your next move. Does that make sense?
Okay. Okay. And those two books again was Continuous Operations and Continue.
No, no.
Can you say them again, please?
It is. I'll show it to you. It is continuous integration. This guy name is
Integration.
continuous integration. This guy name is
Uh-huh.
Paul Duvall. Paul, you owe me a fee, man.
Tall
You owe me a
Duval.
fee. Okay.
Anchor. Uh-huh.
And then the other one
Uh-huh.
is this one right here. Continuous
Continuous
delivery.
lips.
And that is
Okay.
Jazz Humble. I mean, this
Okay.
book right here. This book right here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, when this came out, man, this was the bomb.
Okay.
Yeah, because these
Okay.
guys like Martin Fowler, he's assigned to the Agile Manifesto. I mean, he's on this one too, right? But I think I'm probably sure that Mark knows Jazz better because Jazz worked at ThoughtWorks, I do believe. Um,
Mm.
and then you got Martin
Mm-hmm.
here. So yeah, so Martin Fowler is a signer of the Agile Manifesto. So these are books that you definitely should be definitely reading. And then what I would say to you is you need to go ahead and dive into extreme programming. Period.
I'm sorry, say more time.
Extreme programming.
Extreme say extreme programming. Okay. Now you say extreme. Never
You've heard of it. You've heard of extreme programming, right?
I've heard of it. Never looked at what it was. Extreme programming.
Investigate it, right? I don't. I Yeah, right here. Kent Beck,
Okay.
extreme programming
Extreme programming
explained.
explained. Okay.
Yeah, this is a little bit older. There's probably some newer books, but you can always start off with this one, right? And this right
Okay.
here be very helpful. And there's other ones within the series, so I would recommend that you dive into those things and read them. Um, Again, do I, this book right here, man, to be truthful, um, this book got to be old, you know,
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
and books get old real fast these days, right? So this book is
Right, right,
copywritten
right.
like 2004, 2005, so
Hmm.
again, technology has changed tremendously. There's probably programming languages as wasn't out at that time. Um, so it's just one of those things for you to just get your knowledge up on that stuff. And then you can easily just go look up extreme programming on the internet and get a quick
Okay, okay,
like synopsis about it. That would be helpful.
okay,
Um,
okay.
so and then you can at least have an idea of what that's all about, because if that's where you want to go, then you need to become astute at that stuff. Very,
Hmm.
very astute. You need to become very knowledgeable in that arena. By becoming knowledgeable in that arena is going to be very helpful, because one um one of the places that organizations are always scared to go is in changing the way that they build things, and changing the way that they put things out, and changing the way they maintain things. Companies are always a little scared to jump in that direction, because it could have a huge impact on their day-to-day business. Okay.
Right, right, right.
So it's one of those things where you want to be really, 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 really want to learn about, be careful about. But it is a struggle. It is a struggle. When I say a struggle, a huge struggle for a lot of organizations. So it's a wonderful place to be. Um, it's kind of an area that I was trying to, when I first when I before I even heard about Scrum, I was trying to do some extreme programming. The problem is that I was just too young. I didn't have a voice.
Hmm.
I didn't have the I didn't have a heart to kind of be the person to be in an organization and try to change them. And so, since I didn't have the heart, the older guys would just tell me what to do, and I would just do what they told me to do. And I was too scared to bring up these ideas to them. And so it's hard to do things like that by yourself when you don't have a voice.
Hmm.
But I was thinking that way. But once I ran into Scrum, then I went ahead and went the Scrum route, because I ran into somebody else that was dogmatic about helping an organization change. So it is one of those things where I just kind of believe that you go ahead and learn, you go ahead and take your time, and just grow in that area, and do those things that we talked about doing before. I think you will be wonderfully positioned in an amazing way that will get you everything that you need to have moving forward. It's just I would just recommend and say to you that it's probably going to be a slow go, though. So to learn
Right.
these things is not quick. To kind of get under somebody else's wings and get yourself involved inside of organizations that's willing to grow in that kind of way is just a major plus. And when you start talking about DevOps, operations all over the place is really trying to dive deep in terms of DevOps. So it is an amazing thing. So I think you're nicely positioned, man. I think you can actually do. You can move forward and figure that part out, as well as find a place to land that might be that should be really safe for you. So
Now,
it
just to
sounds like
be,
it sounds
oh,
exciting. Yeah.
yeah. Now, I just want to say, I don't want to hold you up. Just want to say thank you, and I'm open to is because again, I had heard of Scrum, but haven't really investigated to a brother of mine, kind of like, look, we need to take this class. Because he took the class, and he was very impressed with it, and I took the
Okay.
class, and as I'm learning, I was I'm happy to learn information, happy to use information. Uh, so I'm even open to, if I have to go the route of just going straight Scrum,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm fine with that because one thing I do enjoy, as you see, I enjoy talking.
Yeah.
When, I enjoy talking, but but more important, I enjoy having to be able to share something, educate people, and change their lives. So I
Yeah.
see Scrum as something that based on my talent that I already have innately,
Yeah.
to be able to go somewhere and help change their organization. That's the type of stuff that's at the root. That's at my real core, you
Okay.
know.
Well, I
But
would say
but
this,
being
Jamal.
mindful that, huh?
But here's what I will say to you.
Go ahead.
Um, that change person comes in way more than just Scrum Masters.
Okay.
If you was a member of an operations team, if you was a
Mm-hmm.
member of a development team,
Mm-hmm.
and you had that change mindset, one of the biggest problems I run into when I go inside of organizations is those other mindsets that aren't willing to change. And
Right.
so now, if you had that ability and you can bring those concepts forward to people and
Mhm.
give them an idea on how we can do this in our world, and it's not going to kill us, or let's try this, or let's experiment with that, you can be a change agent inside that world too.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
you don't have to
Mhm.
be a
Mhm.
scrum master to be that person, because
Okay.
nobody has nobody has the rights, the sole rights to the word servant leader.
Mhm.
Nobody does.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
you can be a
Mhm.
servant
Mhm.
leader no matter what you're doing inside of an organization.
Mhm.
Period. Okay?
Mhm.
So I would
Mhm.
say to
Mhm.
you, you think about what is the thing that you really, really want to do. If there was a dream, dream big. Set your
Mhm.
goals and take massive action. That's what
Mhm.
I'd be doing.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
what is your dream? When you go into work every day, I want you to feel like you're not at work.
Mhm.
So, Jermaine, understand how I feel. I'm talking to
Mhm.
you right now. I'm pretty much working. This is not
Mhm.
work for me.
Mhm.
When I
Mhm.
go on a client
Mhm.
site, it's not work for me. I
Mhm.
enjoy it. And people be like, hey,
Mhm.
man, hey, do you got extra time? I'm like, certainly. We can do this all day.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I want you to now start thinking about how you can position yourself, what can you do to make those best, biggest dreams come true, so you can set the right goals to get there and then take the action to be there. That's
Appreciate you.
how I'm thinking. So I know you
Mhm.
can do that, man. Here's the deal, Jermaine. I want you to come back and let us know how it's going. Okay? I
Okay.
definitely want you to come back and let us know how it's going. But I know you're gonna be crazy successful. Just do it, man. Just don't try. Do it. Don't let no be no answer for you, because you already ain't got it. Them telling you no don't do nothing for you anyway. But use those tips, jump into that research, and I think you will land in a wonderful place, my friend.
Appreciate you, Devon. Thank you so much.
Man, I appreciate you more, man. I appreciate you
All
coming
right.
on, and thank you for your time. You be safe out there, okay?
No doubt. Appreciate you.
All
Thank you
right.
so much.
You have a good one.
You too.
All right, everybody. That right there was a wonderful, wonderful call. You know, we have opportunities here, right? And if you're a career changer, if you're over 40, there may be some things that you have to think about. If you have children, there may be some things that you have to think about. You might be in a sandwich generation where you're taking care of an older parent. There might be some things for you to think about. Nobody's saying to sacrifice all them, but you're really doing it for all them, right? I mean, that's who you're really doing all this stuff is for, all them, right? And if you're gonna do this for all them, then go for those biggest dreams that you have. Because if you fall a little bit short of that, you're just one step, two steps below that biggest dream that you ever had, and you're probably doing some stuff you've already dreamed about. That's the thing that I get excited about happening for you all, is you all having massive things happen. So here's the deal. That is really was our last caller. That's really our time. Here's the deal. We do this every single Monday at 8 o'clock. We're gonna do this on Martin Luther King's birthday as well. So next week it's, it's supposed to be the holiday, but guess where we're gonna be? We're gonna be right here answering your questions. So if you have a question related to Scrum, Agile, entrepreneurship, please, please, please give us a call. Allow me to help you change your life, because here we dream big, we set goals, and we take massive action. On that note, peace. I'll see you all next week. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful, great, but really safe week, man, because it's crazy out there. So please have a safe week. I'll see you next week. Thank you so much.